Hi, does it ever feel like your paycheck disappears way too fast? I'm talking, if not a week, in a matter of days, and you're wondering where did all your money go? I want you to know, if this is you, you're not alone. You're not bad with money. It's just that we weren't taught how to properly structure our finances such that our money lasts a complete month. So that's what we're going to dig into today, exactly why it feels like our money exhausts us way too fast and what we can do about it starting this week. So for those that are new here, welcome to the channel. I'm Dexter Gadsden. In this channel, we go through strategies and tactics to help you get better at managing your money step by step. So let's dig into it. I think there are 4 reasons why our paycheck feel like it disappears way too fast. With the first of them being our spending is invisible. And by that, I mean today's society, we tap and we swipe. We online making purchases, right? We subscribe. Before you know it, half your paycheck can feel like it's disappeared without you even knowing it, right? Because before we had to physically go to stores or physically exchange cash and or write that check out and then give it to that clerk in order to get our items, right? So now it's more seamless, more effortless than before in today's digital age. Secondly, our bills don't match our pay schedule. Now, this will shock some people sometimes, but if you look at it, if you're front end heavy with your bills and you're getting paid bi-weekly, that could create some angst for you pretty quickly around the 10th, 11th of the month. Thirdly, we don't have a buffer. So no type of savings. So that means whenever something happens, we know Murphy's Law. If it can't happen, it will. So if your battery dies in your car, or if you got an unexpected expense for your kid's school, or your kid's an athlete now and they've grown out of the shoes, and etc. Right? So just any unplanned type of expenses can put that month at strain from a financial standpoint. And then fourthly, thinking that we have everything identified in our head, right? So we may know from a date standpoint when that rent's due and that mortgage due, because that's typically due on the first of the month. And we may know when that car payment's due or student loan payment's due. But other than that, those other bills, we probably don't know when they're due. So it's sort of like me thinking I can remember, hey, what's the total number of calories I've eaten for this week? Can't do it, right? And money moves so fast, especially in today's environment with a lot of digital transactions going on. It's hard to really kind of remember everything that's going on if you're trying to remember in your head. So the first thing we're going to do to get better is, from an awareness standpoint, is we're going to do a mad data dump from our head, and we're going to document all of our expenditures. We're documenting everything. And you could do this with a tangible notebook. You could do it with a spreadsheet, or you could do it with an app. So it's really documenting our spending plan or the expenses part of our budget. So if you think about it. And it's really no shame here. It's really we want to document so we create awareness, because from awareness, that's where we begin to change and get improvement, right? Next, we want to think about how do we align our bills with our schedule. So if we're getting paid on the 1st and the 15th, and if we're front end heavy with those expenditures, one of the things we can do, if we know, hey, that rent of that mortgage is going to get rid of the majority, maybe half or more of that check, right? That first paycheck. And if we got a lot of bills through that first part of the month, comes around the 10th, 11th, or 12th, we may be out of cash, may not have the funds to pay for the bills by that date. So one of the things we could do is speak to those creditors and ask them, can they move that date back from the 10th, 11th, or 12th to the 15th? You'd be surprised. I know I did it. Some of my clients did it. We're not talking everything. We're just talking 1 or 2 or 3 bills, right? Now, if you can't move it, one of the things we can do is look at automation. And we can automatically look at that bill that's, the 10th, 11th, 12th, and say, okay, when the 15th hit, that's the first thing coming out of my check. So we could look at automating the pay of that bill or those bills as well as automating the rest of them. But what we're going to do is make sure that date that we have it deducted is the 15th or later, right? So automation is another one that we can think about there. As we think about, thirdly, how we can create some type of buffer or cash flow, I think we got to go after our low-hanging fruit that's in our spending plan. And I like to call them the money leaks. For me, it was insurance. The insurance of home and automobile was really expensive. So, and they were with different companies. So what I did is combine them with one company. That provided us a savings doing that rate shopping. Also looked at increasing the deductible for both. By increasing the deductible, it lowered the premiums for both. Now, one thing you got to be careful there, if you have a claim to file, just remember that you are going to pay a little bit more, whatever that new deductible is, to file that claim. But the thinking is, over months or years of the reduced premium, you would have saved more than enough to cover that increased deductible. So just look there, do some checking around. So you can either go online yourself or find an insurance broker. And that's their job to try to find the best deal for you. Or you can do a combination of both. You could do some rate shopping yourself and compare it to what the best deal the broker gets you, right? To see, because you're not married to any, right? It's all about you and your family's finances. Try to get the best deal for you. So next, what we want to think about, if you've got cable and you're paying a couple $100 a month for cable, how can we get rid of this cable? Because we don't need 300 to 400 or 500 channels. Can we change the streaming services like yours truly did? Resulted in saving 50%. Right? So 50% is a huge number. So you got to look to see what can you do to make some type of savings there. Thirdly, do you really need that landline? Some folks say they do because of their alarm company. I'm here to tell you their alarm company is out here now where they utilize cell technology. I know mine, Simply Safe, they do. I think ADT does, but just do some shopping there to see, hey, can I get rid of this landline? Can I get rid, and you could a twofer, get rid of the landline and change the alarm company where you could find one that you save money, right? So look into doing that as well. And fourth, we want to do an audit on our subscription services and our memberships, right? So we may not be going to utilizing all our membership and subscription services like we thought we would be. An easy one could be if someone signed up for a gym at the start of the year and now it's June, they haven't been since the second week of January. They're probably not going to go back the rest of the year. You know, it's probably safe to say they can cancel that. Now, if you are going, keep going. You know what you're doing and not doing with your finances, and you know what memberships that you're not using, right? So do an audit, adjust accordingly, get rid of the ones that don't make sense right now, today's environment for you. And finally, we're going to rate quote everything. I'm talking from utilities to cell phones. So cell phones, you could have T-Mobile against AT&T, against Verizon versus whoever, right? I know here in Georgia, in Atlanta where I am, natural gas suppliers, we have multiple ones here. So I rate shop those once a year, every 12 months. And some of them will even give you a little bonus, a Visa card, to sign up with them, right? So just look at what makes sense for you from a rate quote and rate shopping for you and your family, right? And then finally, so after we've gotten that buffer, we want to look at automation. So the little gain that we've identified from the rate quoting, from the sales service, insurance, you name it, each one of them, we want to automatically take that out of that checking and move it over to our savings. So if it's 25 for the phone, that's 25 going a month. If it's 100 for insurance, whatever that number is, right? If we made whatever changes we were making, because we don't want it to get lost back into our life spending, right? So now we want to take advantage of this money that we found, and we want to move it over into our savings, kind of help shore up that buffer. These are some of the strategies and tactics that you can take really to implement starting this week, such that you can feel like your paycheck is not disappearing as quickly as possible, right? So we don't have that paycheck panic. We're not guessing where our money is now. We've documented in the form of a budget or a spending plan, so we know where everything is hitting, and we also identify a date so we know when it's hitting. And now we just got to look at how we can utilize this newfound savings to the best of our advantage of building up our savings plan. So that's what we're going to dig into the next video, what we're going to do with this newfound money that we found. So if you found this video helpful at all to you in your situation, how about you give me the like button, subscribe, and then hit that notification, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.